Good day, everyone. Welcome to today's section. Today, we are going to talk about one of the famous cases in the history of Nigeria. The case is between Adeagbo versus Williams in 1998. Now, we are going to consider the facts or background that surround this famous case. Adeagbo versus Williams is a Nigerian case that came before the Court of Appeal in 1998. The dispute involved a claim arising from a contractual or property transaction between the parties. The appellant, Adeagbo, and the respondent, Williams, were engaged in a transaction, likely involving land or commercial dealing that gave rise to conflicting rights and obligations. The respondent instituted proceedings in the trial court to exact or protect its legal position, and the trial court's decision was appealed. The issues raised before the Court of Appeal centered on the proper characterization of the legal relationship and the appropriate remedies. Now, let's consider or discuss the issues to that case. The key issue related to the nature of the legal right of the parties intercede whether the respondent had established his claim on the requisite standard of proof and whether the trial court rightly granted the reliefs sought. Let's talk about the rules that govern that case. In civil proceedings in Nigeria, the standard of proof is a balance of probabilities, preponderance of evidence, as provided by Section 134 of the Evidence Act. A party who asserts a positive fact must prove it. The burden of proof lies on the party who would fail if no evidence were called, as provided under Section 131 to 133 of the Evidence Act. Court must evaluate all the evidence tendered and determine which party has established its case on the requisite standard. Now let's consider the applications to that rule, to that case. The court examined the evidence adduced by both parties. It considered whether the respondent had discharged the burden of proof on a balance of probabilities. The court evaluated oral and documentary evidence, weighed their probative value, and assessed the credibility of witnesses. The application of substantive legal principles governing the transaction in dispute were applied to the established fact to determine the rights of the parties. Now let's discuss the conclusion of that case. The court resolved the matter in accordance with the weight of evidence. This case is instructive on the application of the standard of proof in civil cases in Nigeria and the approach courts takes in evaluating competent evidence in private law disputes. It reflects the general principle that the party who establishes claim on a preponderance of credible evidence is entitled to the judgment. I want to thank you for being part of today's section. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye for now.